Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good tomorrow, or whatever time it is, wherever you are right now. Thanks for joining us. This is John Pershing Smith, or JP to my friends, and I'll be your host today on this podcast. Our story today is about struggling to make it and what this man did to win. We'll call him Robert. He was born June 27, 1927, died January 23, 2004, and was an American television producer and actor. He was born in Long Island but moved to Forest Hill, New York shortly after his birth. He had a happy childhood, lived with his immigrant father and mother, as well as with his younger sister and two older brothers. His mother died when Robert was only 15, and this deeply impacted him. And without the influence of a school guidance counselor, Robert would have stayed mired in his grief. Instead, in his 18th year, he began working for NBC in their page program. A page was just a low-level gopher, giving an individual an in at NBC, and giving them time to find where, if anywhere, they belonged at NBC. But before Robert could discover this for himself, World War II interrupted. After an early graduation from Forest Hills High School in Queens, New York in 1945 during World War II, and shortly before his 18th birthday, he enlisted in the United States Marine Corps and underwent basic training, but had not yet deployed when Japan surrendered, effectively ending the war. After his tour ended, Robert returned to NBC to finish his time as a page, working for Bob Smith during the day and attending college at night. He was planning to become a lawyer. He attended Fordham University on the GI Bill and a few years at Hillsdale College. Network television programs began shortly after the end of the war. Howdy Doody was an early show featuring a puppet that premiered in 1947 on NBC and was one of the first. Debuting on January 3rd, 1948, Robert played Clarabelle the Clown, a silent clown who communicated by honking several horns attached to a belt around his waist. One horn meant yes, two horns meant no. Clarabelle often sprayed Buffalo Bob Smith with a seltzer bottle and played practical jokes. But Robert gave up the role in 1952 and was replaced. By September 21, 1953, he was back on the air on WABC-TV, New York City, in a new children's show called Time for Fun. He played Corny the Clown, but this time he spoke. Later that same year, in addition to Time for Fun, he began Tinker's Workshop, a program aimed at preschoolers with him playing the grandfather-like Tinker. He also had a Saturday morning show called Mr. Mayor during the 64-65 season. Developing ideas from Tinker's Workshop, Robert and his long friend Jack Miller submitted an all-new kiddie show to the CBS network, which was looking for innovative approaches to children's television programming. CBS approved the show, and he starred as the title character when it premiered on CBS on October 3, 1955. He described his characters based on the warm relationship between grandparents and children. The show was an immediate success, and he served as his host for nearly 3 decades. Robert suffered a severe heart attack just moments after stepping off a plane at Toronto International Airport on July 13, 1981, which pushed the start of a revamped version of his show back to at least mid-August. He had come to the city to accept the Children's Service Award. Robert underwent triple bypass surgery and received an estimated 5,000 get-well wishes from fans. Following the heart attack, he received 3 Emmy Awards for Outstanding Performer in 1982, 83, and 84. During these accolades, his show was shortened from its hour-long format to a half-hour in 1981 to make room for the expansion of the CBS Morning News lineup. The program was moved to a new 7 a.m. time slot. At the start of 1982, the show was rescheduled to an even earlier slot at 6:30 a.m. In the fall of 82, CBS installed it as a weekend-only offering, and 2 years later, in the fall of 1984, the show became a Saturday half-hour entry. Tired of CBS's constant reductions of his show, Robert left his show when his contract with the network ended in December 1984, just 9 months shy of the show's 30th anniversary. By 1987, repeats of the show were airing daily on many PBS stations. Robert's show was given a farewell of sorts, a primetime network TV struggle that aired in 1985. Robert, speaking for United Way at BOK Tower in Tulsa, Oklahoma in April 1999 after his show has ended, Robert hosted 1985's CBS Story Break, which featured animated versions of children's literature. He appeared in framing sequences for the animated stories, showcasing the book versions and suggesting similar books for the viewers to reach out. He appeared in framing sequences for the animated stories, showcasing the book versions, and suggested similar books for the viewers to seek out. In 1987, he founded Corporate Family Solutions with former Tennessee Republican Governor Lamar Alexander. The company provided daycare programs to businesses. Robert lived on Millbury Lane in Babylon Village, Long Island, New York, before moving to spend the last 14 years of his life in Norwich, Vermont, where he became a children's advocate as well as an author. His memoirs were published in 1995 by Fairview Press. He was a strong advocate against video game violence and took part in congressional hearings in 1993. Well, he should be around now. In addition, he joined with parents groups in the 1980s who protested children's TV shows based on then-present toys on the market like He-Man and Transformers. Robert was an adopted member of the Dartmouth College class of 1942, receiving an honorary doctorate from the college in 1975. He was also awarded an honorary Doctor of Humane Letters by Fordham University in 1975, Lemoyne College, a Jesuit liberal arts college in Syracuse, New York, awarded him an honorary Doctor of Humane Letters in 1983. He was awarded an honorary doctorate by the College of New Rochelle in 1985 after serving for several years on its Board of Trustees. In 1997, he received an honorary doctorate from Middleborough College, the alma mater of his grandson Britton, for his work in children's literacy. Robert died on January the 23rd, 2004, at age 76, and was buried in St. Joseph's Cemetery in Babylon, New York. Robert received many awards, including Iris Award for Man of the Year from NATPE 1965, 5 Emmy Awards 1978 and 1981 through 1984, 3 Peabody Awards 1958, 1972, 1979, a National Education Award 1982, Introduction into the Clown Hall of Fame 1990, American Medical Association Distinguished Service Award 1991, Induction into the National Association of Broadcasters Hall of Fame 1998. An urban legend claims that actor Lee Marvin once said on The Tonight Show that he had fought alongside Robert at the Battle of Iwo Jima in February and March of 1945. However, Marvin not only never said this, but he himself had not served on Iwo Jima, having been hospitalized from June 1944 until October 1945 from the wounds received in the Battle of Saipan. Robert himself never saw combat, having enlisted too late to serve overseas. Robert was the original Clarabelle the Clown on Howdy Doody Show, but he was most renowned in his premier role as Captain Kangaroo. Robert James, or Bob KEESHAN as we know him, as the central character in both Captain Kangaroo and Mr. Mayor, heavily promoted the products of the Schwinn Bicycle Company, a sponsor directly on air to his audience. The Federal Trade Commission made a ruling against children's show hosts directly endorsing their sponsors' products during their programs after 1979. So in 1972, KEESHAN got around the FTC's rule by introducing a new character on the show with called Mr. Schwindealer. Sly rascal, wasn't he? Recurring characters included his sidekick and fan favorite, Mr. Green Jeans, and puppets such as Bunny Rabbit and Mr. Moose. The New York Times commented, Captain Kangaroo, a round-faced, pleasant, mustachioed man, possessed an unshakable calm, and was one of the most endearing characters ever produced on television, and was one of the most beloved characters in television history. Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Keeshan was a dreamer, a doer, a believer in children and their education. His was a beautiful time in the past, where things were much more simple than today. He was an American hero who was a major activist against violence in children's games and on TV and the movies. However, as you heard, it wasn't easy for him to get his hero status, but it all became worth it in the end. And folks, that's true with all success stories. The road to the top leads right through the city dump, and you can't get there from here without getting some of the stink on you. See, at this point in time, our children surely need a lot more Captain Kangaroos / Bob Keeshan. And now you know the rest of the story. Ladies and gentlemen, we all need to walk with these dreamers, these believers, these courageous, these cheerful, these planners, these doers. You got to let their spirit ignite a fire within your soul to leave this world a better place than it was when you got here. Thank you, Captain Kangaroo, Bob Keeshan. I hope you enjoyed today's teaching story, and I thank you for letting me share it with you. And to quote the incredible Mr. Paul Harvey, now you know the rest of the story. Good day. Thanks for joining us. I look forward to seeing you all in the winner's circle. God bless you. Make it a great rest of the day. Goodbye for now.